Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Jimmy John's pregame show, getting you set for tonight's men's basketball matchup between the Muskies of Muskingum University and your Crusaders of Capital University. Alongside Jimmy Bloomfield, I'm Charlie Danis. Jimmy, Capital coming off of a rather disappointing loss to Ohio Northern. They got crushed by the Polar Bears 87-65 the other day. Capital led at halftime 37-33, but they get blown out in the second half 54-28. What went wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. They obviously ran out of gas, though. Some foul trouble as well to some of their key players, maybe playing a factor, but definitely not playing that big of a factor in a 22-point loss. And just wasn't their day, I guess, shooting the ball from outside, 29%, 5 for 17. Compared to Ohio Northern, 13 for 26 from outside. If you allow 13 threes and you hit 29% of yours, it's obviously not a good formula.
Devin Allen with 21 points in that win for Ohio Northern. So now Capital comes back here to the Capital Center looking to right the ship. Jimmy, in years past, Muskingum was pretty much an automatic win for both Capital men's and women's basketball, but this year the men's team have gotten off to a spectacular start, 5-0 on the season. They're coming off of a big win over John Carroll. John Carroll has been struggling to begin the 2016-2017 campaign, but at the same time, you look at the offensive numbers that the Muskies have put up so far this year, and you can't help but be impressed.
Yeah, I mean, this is a different Muskingum team than we're used to seeing, and Muskingum, we saw their football team kind of pick it up and maybe just riding off some of that success, but this men's basketball team is no joke this year. They have been putting up some big-time numbers in their victories, even just on the scoreboard itself, including 99 dropped against John Carroll. They dropped 87 on Otterbein, 85 on Kenyon earlier this year. The lowest amount they've scored in a game is 78 this year. So obviously a high-tempo style. They can shoot the ball from outside, 38% from outside. They've hit 51 threes in 5 games, so averaging over 10 threes a game as well. So defending the perimeter is going to be a big factor here tonight, Charlie.
When we come back, we'll take a look around the Ohio Athletic Conference and so much more as we continue to roll along here on the Jimmy John's pregame show.
Ed, what is that bizarre contraption?
It's my latest Jimmy John's online ordering enhancement, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir. You know our popular Jimmy John's online ordering service?
Yes, click, order, eat.
This is the perfect time-saving companion.
How perfect, Ed?
Presenting the Jimmy John's F4000 three-dimensional sandwich printer.
Oh, boy.
See, we put one of these babies in the home of every Jimmy John's customer.
Uh-huh.
They order the sandwich online.
Uh-huh.
And we send a signal to the F4000 to make their sandwich.
Ed, how much does one of these babies cost?
With the quantity discount, $50,000, sir.
And how long does it take to print a sandwich?
About 8 hours, sir.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
So back to the drawing board?
No, stay away from the drawing board, Ed.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Just as fresh as its pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
Welcome back into the Jimmy John's pregame show, getting you set for tonight's men's basketball matchup between Muskingum and Capital. It's now time to take a look around the OAC. This is brought to you by Jersey Mike's Subs and Sandwiches. Well, here's what the standings look like in the OAC at this moment in time. Marietta and Ohio Northern are tied atop the OAC with identical 2-0 marks. Muskingum 1-0. Baldwin Wallace, Mount Union, Heidelberg, and John Carroll all 1-1 within OAC play. Capital 0-1, and then Wilmington and Otterbein, they are both at the bottom of the barrel with 0-2 marks. Jimmy, not surprising that Marietta's out to a perfect start. They're not only looked upon as an OAC contender this year, but possibly a national championship contender. They have really got it going on down there for the Pioneers. But one team that's really surprised me in a bad way has been John Carroll. This is a team that over the last couple of seasons we have been accustomed to seeing at the top of the standings, 2-4 to begin the season.
Yeah, I'm not ready to hit the panic button yet. Let's see how Muskingum plays tonight. If they look as good as their record does, then that might not be that bad of a loss, losing by 4 on the road to this team. Muskingum definitely has exceeded my expectations of what they are, so I actually kind of have a level raised for them and what I expect out of them tonight. You know, looking at the preseason schedule, like you said, Charlie, Muskingum is usually that game where you pretty much expect Capital to win, especially at home. But tonight I'm pretty much thinking this is going to be a toss-up that could go either way, and that's the way that Muskingum's played these last 5 games. So John Carroll being down there, we'll see. I mean, it's very early. And Otterbein, a team that we saw beat Ohio Wesleyan on this floor, I think it was last week even, already 0-2 in conference play, which is more in line with what we expected to see out of them. So I don't know what that says about Ohio Wesleyan or about Otterbein that game, but we'll see them this weekend as well. So it'll be pretty interesting looks at both Muskingum and Otterbein these next 2 games.
A team that we will be seeing later on this season, sticking with that theme, Jimmy, Mount Union, Jakura, junior guard from Alliance, Ohio, recently named the OAC Player of the Week. He led the Purple Raiders to an 89-77 win over Hiram recently as he hit a career high with 40 points and 10 rebounds in that game. He also contributed 11 points and 4 rebounds in Mount Union's 84-79 win over Wilmington. Over that week, Akura averaged 25.5 points per game and 7 rebounds per game, shot 47% from the field, and a perfect 17 of 17 from the free throw line. J.J. Jakura, that's a player that we have seen for a while here.
Yeah, you've got him. You got Jackson from Mount Union as well. Marsh is playing here tonight for Muskingum, and Kuhn was in the top 5 as well at 17.3 points per game from Baldwin Wallace. So those are some very familiar names that people should recognize. That's pretty much the same scoreboard at the end of last year as well. So expect a big game from Jarrell Marsh here tonight. He was a very good player for them when we saw him, and I believe we kind of even mentioned it, Charlie, that they were kind of headed in the right direction when we played them last year. Marsh was one of those promising freshmen for them, and he's had a heck of a start to his sophomore campaign too.
Let's now take a look at the Capital Corner. This is brought to you by the Rusty Bucket, and for this edition of the Capital Corner, we focus our attention on what the women's team has been up to recently. And Jimmy, let's just say you and I were kind of vocally incapacitated. You sounded like you were gargling a bunch of nails. And me, I was trying to get over a cold. So thankfully we have gotten over our respected colds and vocal maladies. But in the meantime, it was a tough loss for the women's team as they fell to Ohio Northern 65-57. They trailed 22-12 after the first quarter. Give Dixie Jeffers' crew credit. They were able to battle back and at one point were down by as little as 4, but ultimately the hole was too big to climb out of.
Yeah, I was actually courtside down there for the game, so I did get a pretty good view of it. I unfortunately wasn't able to get on the air with you at all, and yeah, it was just a bad situation with my voice, but I found it incredibly interesting during that stretch in the third quarter, the start of the fourth quarter, when they came back and made it a game, that it was mostly the bench lineup that was doing the heavy lifting. Emily Ondo, as well as Ellie Watchman, and Reagan Stonerock and Rachel Horn were getting more minutes than Ovies and Bosch and Pla and Fondesi, which was very interesting to see. And the unit that really led them back was Reisner with those 4 players off the bench. So I don't know if Dixie's thinking about mixing things up, but we saw Cassidy Bosch have the game of her life just a week before the Ohio Northern game, and then she kind of went missing in action that entire second half. She shot just 4 times in the game. And Reisner, who had a nice game, 11-7, was still 5 of 17 from the field. She just kind of got going in the fourth quarter finally. And she was going up against some really big girls from Ohio Northern. Bullimore was every bit of 6'1" down low guarding her, so she had a tough time against Bullimore, and that was a big factor in that game. But I'm interested to see, especially here on Saturday, what Dixie decides to do with her lineup, because the bench players, including Emily Ondo, I think they need to get a lot more playing time. Ondo had 9 points and was 4-4 shooting with 4 rebounds and 3 blocks. She was the best player on the court for Capital by far. On Saturday, she only got 20 minutes. And you look at some of the minutes of the starters, Pla had 16 and Bosch had 19 and Ovies had 23. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. I think we're going to see a lot of Ellie Watchman, too, down low. She's looked so good these last few weeks, and I think she's really earned herself a spot, too.
I'll tell you what, I've been really, really impressed with these young players that they got on the team for Capital this year. Ellie Watchman, she has been a spark off the bench. Jimmy, as you mentioned, 9 points in that loss to Ohio Northern. Reagan Stonerock really showed me something with her 8 points. And Rachel Horn, she only had 2 points in that game for Capital, but already I can sense some savviness from that freshman when she comes off the bench and runs that point guard.
Yeah, I mean, the big point here is that they are the starters right now, but none of these players started on the team last year, literally 0 of them, losing 5 senior starters. So Dixie had a solid 5 that she thought she liked as the starters, and don't be surprised if we see changes throughout conference until she finds those 5 players that she really likes. And we don't normally see Dixie playing 11, 12 girls a night either. She's usually one that'll find her solid core of 7 or 8 and roll with them once January and February ride around. So these players are still trying to fight for their spot in the rotation. I don't think anybody should be comfortable with their playing time right now. And we still have Annika Watchman out, and hopefully she'll be good soon for them. And she's desperately needed, I think, with just from a leadership standpoint and just kind of being that floor general that they are clearly missing right now. We saw Cassidy Bosch take over that game against Mount Delicious, but again, she was missing in action on the side of a milk carton in that game against Ohio Northern. They had no presence at the point guard position, and that was a huge part of their miscommunications on the defensive side of the ball. So they really need Watchman more so for her defense than for her offense, I think. And it's just kind of that season. It's going to be a little bit of growing pains early on, but I think Dixie's going to find this nice crew. They've got some players that can all kind of pitch in, and if anyone's going to recognize that talent and maximize it, you know it's Dixie. So I give them some time. I think it's a little bit too early to say anything about this women's team. I think we're going to see a big step forward on Saturday against Otterbein.
When we come back, we will set the table for Capital, what to look forward to from the Crusaders' perspective tonight as they take on the Muskies of Muskingum. You are listening to the Jimmy John's pregame show.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Planks Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Planks Cafe and Pizzeria? Planks is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show. Muskingum and Capital hooking up tonight for some men's basketball here at the Capital Center. It's now time to set the table, brought to you by Pepsi. Live for now. Let's set the table now for Capital. Okay, Jimmy, we knew that Austin Schreck was going to be running the point guard. We knew that Joey Weingartner had to step up. as one of the better shooters, if not the best shooter for Capital this season, along with Tyrell Jackson. We have been awed by the athleticism of Ganu Yahaya. One player, though, that's really stuck out to me early on this year has been Tyler Jamison. 6'6" freshman out of Chillicothe, Ohio, playing that center spot. I know that a lot was talked about with Nate Boone, but so far to me, Jamison has probably been the most impressive post player for Capital.
Yeah, he's been really solid. We saw him really the last game out here against Wittenberg defending down low. And that was a atrociously played game by both teams, to just be blunt with it. But Jamison's defense down low really kept them in that game. He was a more than serviceable rim protector, and that is something that they can really build around on the defensive end of the floor. Haven't really seen that too much from him offensively. He is averaging 6 points a game and 7 rebounds a game. But I'd like to see a little bit more from him on the offensive side of the floor. He's only shot the ball 27 times in 7 games, so it's not like he's inefficient or anything like that. He's just not really a focal point for this offense, but he certainly brings a lot defensively to the table, and they kind of need that rim protector down low. That was something that was missing from this team last year.
Meanwhile, bad news for Capital tonight. Kurt Geisey will not play. Suffered a knee injury from what we understand. Don't know how long he is going to be out for, but however long it is, Jimmy, that's a big blow for Capital. Kurt Geisey, one of the few veterans on this young squad, and a dependable force coming off the bench for the Crusaders.
Yeah, he actually started the last game for them, too, against Ohio Northern. He switched spots with Weingartner coming off the bench. Weingartner back in there for him tonight. Just from a leadership standpoint, too, on the floor. We're kind of talking about it with the women's team in Watchmen. That's that kind of player that Geisey is for the men's team. And he was really playing some of the best basketball we've seen from him over the past 3 years, including outside. He's 40% three-point shooter, 6 for 15. He was really picking his choices, obviously, kind of averaging about 1 a game. But he was bringing a lot more to the table offensively than we probably expected from him. Had a big game where he scored over 20 points. Was averaging about 8 a game. So they're definitely going to miss him out on the floor. And hopefully his presence on the bench is enough from a leadership standpoint to get these guys organized.
Jimmy, I want to talk with you about the bench for Capital. Ganu Yahaya has come off the bench this year and has provided a spark athletically, and he's only going to get better and better with his jump shot as well. But other than him and Kurt Geisey, I really haven't seen a couple of players for Capital, or a few players for Capital come off the bench and really give them a spark. Who do you see coming off that bench in the near future that needs to step up their game here?
Well, Will Hanna was a starter for this team last year, and I expected him to be a big part of the team this year, and he just hasn't been that. He's averaging about 8 minutes a game. He's 2 for 10 shooting the ball this season and has 4 turnovers already to just 5 assists. So I mean, it is a positive assist-to-turnover ratio, but he really hasn't provided much for them off the bench. Dan Alba, we've seen a little bit of off the bench, and he's starting to get a little bit more of a role, and he's going to have to be someone that really fills in for Geisey coming off the bench. That's going to be your top point guard substitution now is Dan Alba. So we haven't seen a whole lot of him out of his freshman year, of course, but he's really going to need to pick his game up a little bit too. And we haven't seen much from some players that we're used to seeing, Gavin Wildermuth and Brennan Chukran, as well as the transfer Caleb Mitchell. These are guys that have been getting on the floor a little bit, more so Mitchell and Wildermuth than Chukran, but names that we're familiar with that we just haven't really seen much out of. So I don't know what happened between this year and last year. Maybe it could even be said that that coach has just got his eyes on different players, obviously with him not being the coach last year and being the head coach this year. Maybe that cuts into a little bit of what he's seen from Will Hanna or what he's seen from a Gavin Wildermuth. But these guys, we've seen them get it done before, not in a very large sample, but at times we've seen them get it done before, and they kind of need to tap into that energy and see how we can bring that out of those guys.
When we come back, we will set the table for Muskingum. What has gotten into the Muskies as they have jumped out to a 5-0 start to the season? Well, we'll tell you about that and much more as we continue to roll along here on the Jimmy John's pregame show.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. and I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts, and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt, so I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
Back here on the Jimmy John's pregame show, let's now set the table for Muskingum. This is brought to you by Capital Dining Services. Well, Jimmy, 5-0 record for Muskingum to begin the season, 1-0 mark to begin conference play. And this is not the Muskingum teams of yesteryear. They know how to score the basketball, and they are led offensively by Jarrell Marsh, 18.4 points per game.
Yeah, Marsh is a really good player. We saw a little bit of him last year here at the Cap Center. He did only have 10 points, but he was obviously the best player on this team last year for Muskingum, and he's really taking his game to another level, as I mentioned a couple minutes ago at the start of the pregame show. He is averaging over 18 points per game. He's in the top 5 in the conference in that department, and he's been really efficient from the floor, 44%, 38% from outside, and 85% at the free throw line, all numbers that you'd love as a coach. So he's definitely our player to watch from the other side today.
And also another player to watch. Well, actually, I take that back. A couple of players. Marcus Dempsey, averaging 15.8 points per game, one of their better post players. And Ricky Wilson is another player to watch out for. Probably one of their top three-point shooters, Jimmy. He is shooting 48% from beyond the arc. So, yes, indeed, he is one of their best three-point shooters.
Yeah, he scored 10 points off the bench for Muskingum last year here in this building in just 16 minutes also. So he's got some quick strike ability. And don't forget about Joshua Keys either from Muskingum. Not so much of a high scorer for them, 8.8 points per game, but he is the leading rebounder in OAC play with 12.2 rebounds per game. So they are up in the top 5 in a number of categories. They play at a very high pace, and we talked about the scoring offense. The lowest amount of points, again, that they scored in a game is 78, and they've broken 85 for their 5 games. So big offensive numbers are going to be expected tonight.
Would it behoove Capital to slow down this game?
Yeah, I mean, that's always been Capital's story, Charlie, men and women. When the high-scoring teams come into this building, we need to slow them down, play to our pace, and try to keep it into an ugly, kind of grinded-out kind of style of basketball. Capital can touch the 80s here and there, but they really make their money winning those games in the low 70s and even high 60s at times. It only took 63 points for Wittenberg to beat Capital here the last matchup in the Cap Center, so hopefully the offense comes through a little bit more efficiently, and I'm thinking 75 is a good target number to hold Muskingum under. If we can do that, I think we'll be in okay shape.
When we come back, we'll have the keys to tonight's game. What will it take for Capital to get back on the winning side of things after getting thumped by Ohio Northern the other night? That and much more coming up here on the Jimmy John's pregame show.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
Welcome back to the Jimmy John's pregame show. It is now time for tonight's Keys to the Game, brought to you by the Marriott Columbus Airport. Jimmy, the floor is yours.
So first key for me tonight is going to be the perimeter. The outside shooting from Muskingum, they got to limit it, and the outside shooting from Capital has to be better. They were just ugly from three-point range the last time we got to look at them, and they didn't fare much better against Ohio Northern either. So they need to improve their outside shooting, even if it's taking less threes, Charlie, and just getting better looks than taking outside jump shots and just hoping they go down. They have been very inefficient from three-point range this season. It's 34% overall, but it has been worse than that in most recent games. So keep an eye on the outside shooting. Muskingum tonight, they are shooting 38% from outside. They can really light it up. They're averaging over 10 threes a game, and they need to get that number down to about 6 or 7, I'd say, to feel pretty comfortable. You can't let them come into your building and drop double-digit threes on you. It's just not a good start to your game plan. Capital also needs to do better with turnovers, both sides of the ball. They're averaging 14 turnovers a game offensively, and then they've only taken away 9.3, so they're a big minus 4.7 in turnovers this season. They're just not getting enough easy shots in transition, and you see what they can do in transition with some of the dunks that Yahia had, the back-to-back alley-oops. Those kind of plays not only give you points, but they give you energy. We never heard this place louder, I think, after those 2 alley-oops. And he's just an electrifying kid, that is Yahia. But they need to create just easy shots for themselves anyway, get some steals and get out on the break and get a couple of quick baskets, and that's going to help from an efficiency standpoint offensively. And, 14 turnovers really isn't that many. I think the offense is doing just fine. If they limit it a little bit more, that'd be great. But I just think it's more on the defensive side that they need to create some more turnovers. And I think the last key is the bench tonight. They've got to do something. They're not going to have guys off the bench tonight. And, most of the scorers are in the starting lineup. So the Wildermuth of the world, the Dan Aubles, among others, Mitchell, the transfer coming in. We are going to need something out of them tonight. It's not going to just be a night where the bench can score 8 points and we'll be in this game. It's going to take a full team effort here tonight. And Muskingum, do not underestimate them. I know the last few years they've kind of been a doormat, and I think they've kind of taken it personally. Some of the seniors and juniors on this team can finally taste some of that winning, I think, and the freshmen and the sophomore classes are really doing a nice job for them contributing. And, of course, Marsh being the sophomore is kind of the leader that they're all rallying around right now. So don't sleep on this team tonight. This is a very good Muskingum team, at least from an expectation standpoint, and I think this could be a really good game, but it could go either way, really. I honestly don't know what to expect too much from Muskingum because I'm genuinely surprised that they've come out to this hot start this season. I don't think it's a complete fraud, but I don't know if they're a top 3 team in this conference, and tonight's going to be a little bit of an eye test for us.
All I know is this. I'm looking at the stats. Muskingum averaging 87 points per game. They have gone over 90 points once, coming off of a 99-95 win over John Carroll, as a matter of fact. So we know that they can score the basketball. Can Capital get a big game out of Tyrell Jackson? He leads Capital in scoring with 14.1 points per game. We know this. Somebody is going to have to step up big-time scoring-wise in order to keep up with this high-octane offense for Muskingum. That will include the Jimmy John's pregame show. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip-off here at the Capital Center. Muskingum taking on Capital here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332. Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Jimmy John's World's Greatest Gourmet Sandwiches, Ed speaking.
Yes, I need a sandwich delivery right away.
What kind of sandwich?
I don't care. Just get it to 215 Elm Street right now.
I'm on my way.
Jimmy John's. Thanks for getting here so fast.
You're welcome, sir. Here's your sandwich. By the way, did you know your house is on fire?
That's why I called Jimmy John's.
Fire makes you hungry?
No, I knew you'd get here fast. Grab a bucket.
We're going to need more than 2 guys, sir.
You're right. What'll we do?
Leave it to me, sir. Hello, boss. Send everyone you got to 215 Elm. Doesn't matter what kind of sandwich, sir. I'll explain later. Thank you, sir.
Jimmy John's. Come in. Sir, did you know your house is on fire? Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know your
yes,
house
I
is
did.
on
Grab
fire?
a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you know...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Jimmy John's.
Come in.
Sir, did you...
Yes, I did. Grab a bucket.
Fire department.
Come in.
Sir, did you know you...
It's okay, Captain. We got it handled. Care for a sandwich?
Thanks, but tell me something.
Shoot.
Why didn't you call the fire department first?
I did.
When looking for
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
Welcome back to the Capitol Center. We are ready for basketball as Muskingum gets set to take on Capital. Both teams here in Bexley. Capital still looking for their first win in OAC play. Meanwhile, Muskingum looking to improve to 2-0 within conference play. Let's get you the starting lineups for tonight's affair. These are brought to you by Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. First for the visiting Muskies of Muskingum. At guard will be the 5'8" sophomore from Vandalia, Ohio, number 0, Jalen Page. Also at guard will be the 6'4" sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 10, Gerald Marsh. Also, let's see here, at guard will be the 6'2" freshman from Zanesville, Ohio, number 22, Marcus Dempsey. At forward will be the 6'7" senior from East Cleveland, Ohio, number 14, Joshua Keys. And rounding out the starting lineup for Muskingum will be the 6'3" senior from Newark, Ohio, number 31, Ricky Wilson. The head coach of Muskingum is Travis Schwab. Meanwhile, the starting lineup for Capital looks like this. At guard will be the 6'3" sophomore from Erlanger, Kentucky, number 3, Austin Schreck. Also at guard will be the 6'2" sophomore from Centerville, Ohio, number 22, Joey Weingartner. Also at guard will be the 6'2" senior from Dublin, Ohio, number 23, Tyrell Jackson. At forward will be the 6'7" freshman from Columbus, Ohio, number 33, Nate Boone. And rounding out the starting line for Capital tonight will be the 6'6" freshman from Chillicothe, Ohio, number 45, Tyler Jamison. In his 22nd year as head coach of Capital is Damon Goodwin. We talked about it in the pregame show, Jimmy, about how Muskingum has that high-powered offense, how Capital is going to need to really slow down the tempo to have a chance in this game. But something that I brought up towards the end of the pregame show, I think Capital really needs a big game from Joey Weingartner and in particular Tyrell Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, the scoring obviously is going to need to get a little bit of an uptick. I think the target number, like I said, is going to be holding Muskingum under 75, which means it'll take Capital about 76 points to win this game. They average about 73, and they only allow about 67. So they've been doing a nice job, but I think Muskingum is going to be one of the tougher opponents that we've played this season, and we're in a little bit of a 3-game losing streak too. So I think a win here, even it out in conference play, and get into the middle of that pack with all those 1-1 teams in conference.
The opening tip brought to you by Zoe's Cafe. It is won by Muskingum, and we are underway here at the Capitol Center. Jalen Page running the point for Muskingum. Passes it off to Dempsey. Dempsey with a little floater, and just like that, Muskingum is up 2-0. Dempsey, the 6'2" freshman out of Zanesville, with the shot. So now Capital goes on offense. Jamison will hand off to Schreck at the top of the arc. Shrek dribbling to his left. Now it's over to Boone. Boone just inside the circle. Goes deeper inside to Jamison. And Jamison off the glass and in. Tyler Jamison with the first 2 points of the ball game for Capital.
Yeah, Joshua Keys might be a great rebounder, but he's a very lanky guy. Jamison has a lot more weight on him, and that's a matchup that they can go after. We've been talking about wanting to see more on the offensive side of the floor from Jamison and getting him a little bit more usage.
Joshua Keys, he's driving, twisting, turning off the glass. That's no good. Keys trying to get the rebound, but Shrek battles the ball, or battles for the ball, I should say, and grabs the rebound.
And we see Jamison on the defensive end of the floor being a lot more active around the rim. We talked about that being his strength, being a rim protector.
Shrek driving, twisting, and getting it off the glass and in. Nice move on the inside by Austin Shrek. 4-2 lead for Capital.
Sorry, Charlie, there. I'm just noticing a lot more size from the Capital team than the Muskingum team, and that is a big advantage for them offensively in the first 2 possessions.
Page to Marsh. Marsh with a jumper, and that's good. We're tied at 4. 18:32 remained in the first half.
Style of play definitely in Muskingum's favor right now. It's a very high-paced game. Capital trying to slow it down right now.
Shrek being guarded by Page. Top of the arc now gives over to Weingartner on the right wing. Weingartner dribbling to his left, now dribbling to his right. Weingartner driving off the glass and in. Don't know where the defense was for Muskingum that time, but Capital regains the lead 6-4. Page on the right wing now. He'll hand off to Dempsey. Dempsey trying to drive on in, jumper from the foul line, and that swishes through. We're knotted at 6.
Tough shot. Last 2 of them have been pretty tough looks, and Muskingum's just knocked him down. Capital's been getting wide open layups on this side of the floor. It's kind of been a bizarre first few minutes.
Boone to Jackson. Now it's to Shrek on the inside. Jamison trying to back his man down. He will, and the floater is good for Jamison.
It's way too easy. Muskingum just completely cleared out and isolated Keys on Jamison, and Capital will take that matchup every trip down the floor.
Capital 8, Muskingum 6, 17.5 to play in the first half. An entertaining first half so far. Page passes over to Wilson. Wilson with a jumper in the lane, and that one knocks through. We're tied at 8.
I was thinking, have we seen a missed shot? We've seen 1 missed shot to this point in this game.
If you're a fan of offensive basketball, this is the game for you. We're not at 8 with 17-13 remaining in the first half between Capital and Muskingum. Weingartner dribbling around. He'll let loose a long jumper, and that one won't rattle home as the rebound is taken by Muskingum's Jarrell Marsh. Now it's Dempsey dribbling around in the corner. Gets it over to Keys. Keys, long jumper. Keys swishes it through. 3-pointer. 11-8 in favor of Muskingum. Shrek across the timeline. We'll give it on over to Jamison. Jamison to Boone. They go inside to Shrek. Shrek, turnaround Jay, swatted away by Joshua Keys. And now it's Marsh streaking up the floor and scoring. And a timeout's going to be taken by Capital. 16:31 remaining in the first half. It is Muskingum 13, Capital 8 here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Planks Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Planks Cafe and Pizzeria? Planks is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
16.5 remaining in the first half. It's Muskingum leading Capital 13-8 here on the Capital Sports Network alongside Jimmy Bloomfield. I'm Charlie Danis. Dan Auble, who recently checked in for Capital, swings the ball over to Austin Shrek. Shrek on the right wing. Now it's back to Auble. Auble back to Shrek on the right wing. 11 on the shot clock. Ganahu Yahaya has also checked in. He passes it over to Jackson. Back to Yahaya. Yahaya has his 3 blocked by Keys. 2 on the shot clock. Auble will let it fly. That was off the rim, and the rebound is taken by Tyler Jamison.
It was actually a great miss. It hit front rim and bounced right back to Capital.
Sometimes you need those lucky bounces. Yahaya trying to get it into Jamison. Gets it back. Yahaya drives on and off the glass and count the bucket. And a foul.
It looks like Keys might be matched up with Yahaya, trying to match his athleticism with some length. We've already seen a couple of blocks from Keys, and he tipped that pass, too. Yahaya was able to collect it, and then, obviously, with the foul, gets the basket there.
The man they call G on Capital, and his free throw is no good. The rebound is taken by Keys. He's 6'7" senior out of East Cleveland, Ohio. Went to Shaw High School up in the Northeast Corridor. Page dribbling around. Now it's over to Marsh. Marsh losing the ball, and Jamison comes up with a turnover for Capital. Now here comes Schreck across midcourt. Schreck on the right wing. Now he'll slow things up a bit. Gets it over to Jackson. 21 on the shot clock for Tyrell. Tyrell dribbling to his left. Gets a screen from Yahaya. Jackson will now go to the left wing. Still dribbling with the basketball. Gets another screen, this time from Jamison. Now over to Yahaya for three. And G not able to knock it down as the rebound is taken by Muskingum's Marcus Dempsey.
And Jackson was able to get the mismatch being picked up by Geller, a post player. Didn't go to the rack on him, though.
Page driving and fouled. I recall a reach-in foul against Dan Auble. First foul of the game for Capital.
Not a surprise to see Auble in there kind of playing that Kurt Geisey role that we expected. They're going to rely on him for some bigger minutes than he's used to tonight. He's held up pretty well so far, but we'll see, especially on the defensive end. That's where he's going to need to bring it.
Robbie Heisey and Davon Pert have checked into the ball game for Muskingum. Still trying to get the ball in, and it's picked off by Tyrell Jackson. Jackson coming down on the other end. Swung around, Jackson now with the ball at the top of the arc, but now gets it back out to Auble. 18 on the shot clock for Dan. Yahaya back to Auble. Auble, long jumper, and it swishes through for Dan.
Not a bad Kurt Geisey impression there with the mid-range shot.
Muskingum 13, Capital 12, approaching 14 and a half remaining in our first half of play.
They've slowed it down quite a bit now, and it's flustering Muskingum. You see him throw it away there. They haven't scored in the last 2 minutes after scoring 13 within the first 3.5.
Coming in is Logan Chupa. Chupa, a 6-foot junior from North Royalton, Ohio, for Muskingum.
And we saw him last year. He is not afraid to shoot, so keep an eye on him from outside.
Auble to Schreck to Jackson. Back to Auble on the left wing. Yahaya trying to feed it into Jamison, and Jamison trying to handle the weird-looking lob that time. Got fouled on the play.
I think he purposely tried to pass it off the backboard to Jamison there. And, again, with Yahaya, there is a lot of, growing pains. He's actually more of a soccer player than a basketball player, I found out last week, and he's still just kind of learning the whole nuances of basketball. His athleticism, obviously, is going to play at this level, but there's going to be some times where he tries some cute stuff like that.
Gavin Wildermuth checks in for Capital. Auble, top of the arc. Still trying to look to pass here. Over to Jackson, who thought about a three. 20 on the clock. He loses it. Back to Jackson. Now let's lose a three. That is no good, and the rebound is taken by Davon Pert. And now another turnover for Muskingum. Yahaya is able to poke a three, and before Muskingum finds a turnover of their own, it is a foul called against Jarrell Marsh.
Muskingum right now just playing really sloppy offensively. I think they're just trying to ramp up this pace again, and because Capital slowed it down, they're just a little bit flustered.
Weingartner comes back in for Capital, and checking in for the first time tonight, Caleb Mitchell.
And that's a guy off the bench that we've kind of said is a key guy, just like Auble. He's going to need to give him some big minutes without Jameson in there.
Auble gets it into Weingartner. Weingartner dribbling around, still dribbling around as he goes all the way back out to midcourt. Now he's motioning to give me some space here, fellas, so I can work. Meanwhile, Wildermuth on the right wing, inside of Weingartner. Weingartner backing his man down. Step back Jay, no good, and the rebound is taken by Muskingum's Robbie Heisey. Pert coming down the lane, and it's going to be a foul against Capital. Shot will not count. Only the second team foul on Capital in this game.
That's a big mismatch, and Auble's doing the best he can right now. I think Coach is getting ready to get him out of here. Get some more athleticism on the defensive side of the floor. We're going to see Jaden O'Neal. We haven't seen a whole lot of him this year.
Jaden O'Neal, 6'1" freshman out of Lima, Ohio. And I had to pause the action momentarily as Coach Govan was pointing out, hey, Muskingum players are kind of getting rough with my players a little bit. Tell them to calm down a little bit. Dempsey in the corner. Now he dribbles out to the right wing. Dempsey, a little crossover move, and a foul is going to be called against Capital. Are they going to get Caleb Mitchell on this one?
They got Wildermuth there.
Okay. So 3 personal fouls on Capital, also 3 personal fouls on Muskingum. 13-18 remain in the first half. Muskingum clinging to a 13-12 lead over Capital. Pert in the corner, being guarded by O'Neal. Pert dribbling out of traffic. How he got that pass off, I have no idea. Now there's a battle for a loose ball out of bounds, and they give it to Muskingum.
Yeah, hit off of Mitchell there in the last second. And O'Neal really gave the effort defensively that coach was looking for. You could kind of see him in the background there telling him to put his hands up, don't foul, and O'Neal did just that. He forced a terrible pass. Somehow it got to a Muskingum player.
Pert inbounds the ball. It's now Dempsey at the top of the arc. Dempsey lets loose a 3 and swishes it through.
Yeah, he is scoring at a good clip right now. I think that's 7 for him already offhand. And Wildermuth has been, Weingartner has been in his face every one of those shots.
And he's only a freshman, too. Muskingum 16, Capital 12. 12:43 left to play in the first half. Weingartner receives the handoff, gets it inside, and G finishes it off.
This turnstile defense right now from Muskingum. They haven't shown anything on that end of the floor. Luckily, their offense is their defense right now.
Pert misses the shot, loose ball, and they give it to Capital. Couldn't agree with you more. Seems like any time Capital drives towards the rim, it's an automatic 2 points.
Yeah, they haven't been able to stop us today, but they are just relentlessly scoring, and that's pretty much their strategy, apparently, tonight, just outscore us. And it's working so far, but again, they've kind of killed the pace down the last 4 minutes. They've only scored 3 points, so that's something that we'll take.
Joshua Keys checks back in for Muskingum, who leads Capital 16-14. 12:15 remain in the first half. G, now they go inside to Weingartner, back outside to Wildermuth. Wildermuth dribbling to his right. G thought about a 3, thought about driving inside as well, but slows his roll a little bit. Now it's back out to Wildermuth for 3. That is no good, and the rebound is taken by Muskie's Davon Pert. Pert quickly up the floor. Pert dribbling around, loses the ball, and they're going to say Muskingum ball.
O'Neal has done a great job since coming in for Auble on defense. They're really trying to stop Pert from getting anything going. Pert only 9.6 points per game, but he creates a lot of shots for his teammates as well when he breaks it down on the dribble, and O'Neal's really holding his own.
Pert will inbound it from the baseline, and he will get it in successfully to Joshua Keys. Keys, the lanky Clevelander, now passes off to Jarrell Marsh. Marsh dribbling around with 11 on the shot clock. Marsh over to Dempsey. Dempsey thought about another 3. He's got 5 on the shot clock. Dempsey still at the top of the arc, lets it loose, and he knocks it through again.
You just have to shake your head as a defender. I mean, Weingartner was with him step for step. Got a hand in his face when he shot. He's just feeling it right now.
Yahaya at the top of the arc. Hands off to Wildermuth. Gavin will drive on in. It's over everybody's head with his pass. He was trying to find Caleb Mitchell on that pass. A turnover for Capital.
Yeah, coach a little bit upset with the pass, but I'm not. I like the move there. That was a good find from Wildermuth. If Mitchell has his hands a little bit more ready, that's an easy 2 points. I think coach taking out Wildermuth here partially because of that pass, but I don't know. From up here, it didn't look like that bad of a look.
If you want to blame someone, I think you have to blame Mitchell on that last play. He just simply wasn't looking for the pass. I thought it was a good play option there for Wildermuth. In the meantime, near steal for Yahaya as he's double teaming Jalen Page with another player. Actually, Page lets loose a 3, missed a shot, but a foul is going to be called against Muskingum. Looks like Keys got a little too rough there.
It's his first. No one really in any kind of foul trouble. The only one is Robbie Heisey, who was in for all of 3 minutes or so and picked up 2 fouls, went right back to the bench, off the bench for Muskingum.
Speaking of coming off the bench, Austin Schreck checks back in for Capital. Boy, looking at Keys right now. Do you remember when we first saw Keys? Keys was virtually skin and bones. You can definitely tell that he's been putting some work in the gym last couple years. Tyrell Jackson dribbling around on the left wing. Now he passes off to G. 13 on the shot clock. Schreck on the right wing goes inside, and it is Caleb Mitchell who finishes off the right block.
I was going to say, still, though, look at Mitchell next to him and look at Jamison next to him. With grown men playing basketball, and an easy 2 points there for Mitchell.
10:25 remain in the first half. Muskingum 19, Capital 16. Dempsey dribbling on in, loses the ball. Schreck gets the loose ball. It's still up for grabs. Muskingum grabs it back.
Yeah, Keys must have come away with it. Schreck obviously didn't have full possession of it.
Dempsey out to Page. Page for 3. Gotten hit. And now he will head to the free throw line to shoot 3 free throws. And I'm sure Damon Goodwin is not happy about that.
Yeah, that's always a kind of a touchy foul when they fall down. Ball was virtually on the rim already when Weingartner made contact with them, but he can't foul a shooter like that. Frustrating day for Weingartner defensively. He's been in the right positions, and just things are not going his way, be it a tough shot made or that foul there.
Page, a Vandalia, Ohio native, knocks his first free throw down. By the way, actually, while we have a moment, Muskingum, the alma mater of John Glenn, I'm sure many of you have heard the news that Glenn passed away earlier today. One of those guys, Jimmy, that was a true American hero, served in the Marines. Of course, we know about him circling the Earth, the first American to orbit the Earth, and a longtime senator as well, as Page misses the third free throw. May he rest in peace. Nate Boone is checked back in for Capital. Tyrell Jackson on the right wing. Jackson dribbling to his left, back out to Boone, who will let loose a three. And it will swish through for Nate Boone.
Big time shot. They needed that one. Just from a confidence standpoint, staying in this game. They've made open shots. They just haven't gotten a whole lot of them, and it's not really because of Muskingum's defense. I'm not sure what the problem is right now offensively for Cap.
Jarrell Marsh with 13 on the shot clock. Over to Page in the corner for three, and Page knocks it down. And boy, I'm just looking at the frustration of Damon Goodwin right now. It is not looking good.
They're almost helping too much, I think, and just creating open shots from the perimeter, and now Muskingum's starting to knock a few of them down.
Muskingum 24, Capital 19, and a turnover for Capital. Traveling violation as Wilder checks back in for the Crusaders. As Weingartner takes a seat, and it's been a frustrating night for Weingartner so far. He's got 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting. Muskingum 24, Capital 19, 9:09 remaining in the first half. Passed on over, three-pointer on the way. That's no good for Marsh, but the rebound is dug out by Keys. Page, floater, off the glass and in. Apparently the bank is open. And apparently Capital's going to be taking a timeout, as we will. 8:55 remaining in the first half. It's Muskingum 26, Capital 19. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan, right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan, right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap.
8:55 remaining in the first half. Muskingum leading Capital 26-19. Jimmy, both these teams are shooting pretty well from the field, but it just seems like Muskingum has been able to take advantage of that Capital defense. 4 of 7 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, they've been mixing up defenses here the last 5 minutes or so, and none of them have really worked. So we'll see what they go to the drawing board after the timeout.
Meanwhile, Schreck splits a pair of defenders, got fouled on his way to the bucket, so now he'll head to the free throw line to shoot a pair.
Yeah, that purple half circle right under the basket, that's where Capital needs to start attacking, because that's been the weakness all night. They've gotten 4 points from the starter down low, Jamison. They got 2 off the bench from Mitchell that were pretty easy. Yahaya's had a few down there. And now Schreck into the free throw line. That's the area they need to get to the line and start getting some of these bigs into some foul trouble.
First free throw is good for Schreck. Native of Erlanger, Kentucky, a sophomore here at Capital. Second free throw now upcoming for Mr. Schreck. And it is good. It is Muskingum 26, Capital 21. 8:41 remaining in the first half. Capital now going with a little bit of a pressure defense, but Muskingum's able to break it. Page on the left wing, passing it over to Geller. Jacob Geller, three-pointer on the way for Geller. That's no good, and Jamison grabs the rebound for Capital. Jackson, cross half court. He's at the top of the arc, passes off to Jamison. Jamison now over to Schreck. Back to Jamison. Jamison rolling, and he has the ball stripped as he goes towards the hoop. As Muskingum comes up with the ball. Page now being guarded by Wildermuth. Page driving on in. And to turn around a little bit, now back out on the left wing. 16 on the shot clock.
Looks like he picked up his dribble to me up here.
Now it's over to Keys. Keys shot fake, and Keys got hit by Jamison. So now Keys will head to the free throw line.
You can't leave your feet down low like that on a guy coming down on you. Jamison has to keep his ground a little bit better than that. And on the other end of the floor, his shot got blocked. He's got to keep the ball closer to his body, especially against someone with the length of Keys. Keep it close to your body. You're going to get a foul instead of a block next time.
First free throw is good for Joshua Keys, the senior out of East Cleveland. And hope everybody's doing okay in East Cleveland. I actually heard the news that there was a 70-car pileup.
Yeah, I think it was that many cars, and you got that from me, so I don't want to. Hopefully, I didn't give you the wrong information there. But there was a nasty accident over on I-90 around Cleveland. So yeah, be careful if you're going to be on the roads later tonight. Up there, they got a lot more snow than we did down here in Columbus.
No, I always feel sorry for Cleveland around this time of year. That's for sure. Schreck over to Jackson. They go inside. Boone. Back out to Schreck. Long jumper for Schreck. That's no good. Boone got no. He is going to be called for a push-off. Thought initially that they were going to call the foul against Jacob Geller, but it's Boone who is the culprit. We're the 16th foul on Capital. 6 for Muskingum. Muskies leading the Crusaders 28-21. 7:38 remaining in the first half.
Will Hanna checking in. Capital really needs to dig deep here these few minutes. Can't let this game get away from you this early. It's only a 7-point game right now, but Muskingum has that quick attack offense that we've seen. They can score 13 points in 3.5 minutes, apparently, so can't let that happen here in the next few.
Dempsey, long J. That's no good, and the rebound's taken by Hanna.
Finally, he misses one with a defender blanketed all over him. Good defense.
Well, I mean, he was going to miss one at some point, Jimmy. Schreck over to Hanna on the right wing. Hanna dribbling to his left, now picks up his dribble, passes it off to Wildermuth. 14 on the shot clock. It's over to Schreck, now to Boone. Boone dribbling around, trying to find some space. Back out to Hanna for 3. That's no good. Boone is going to be called for another foul over the back on Boone.
He has been in foul trouble in nearly every game he's played with Cap. Well, the one game that he wasn't, he was one of their leading scorers. And again, 2 fouls for him tonight. And now G's going to check in, and the bonus is also in effect.
Yahaya comes in for Capital, and meanwhile, Muskingum will be shooting free throws for the rest of this half because Capital has reached its 7th foul as a team. Now at the free throw line is Andrew Robinson, the freshman out of Mentor, Ohio. Misses the free throw. Keys grabs the offensive rebound, goes to the floor along with Wildermuth. Jump ball is called. They will give it to Capital.
And also in the foul situation, you got 6 from Muskingum, so if Capital's fouled, they're going to go to the line as well. And again, I think they need to start attacking. It's not a painted area here on this court, but get inside the paint and see what you can do.
Hanna on the left wing. Passes off to Wildermuth. Now it's to Schreck, but another foul called against Capital, this time a moving screen on Jamison.
Another offensive foul. And that's Jamison's 2nd foul also, so they need to be very careful here these last 6.5 minutes. I don't know if you want to get Mitchell back in this game or not, but Jamison picks up a foul. That's his 3rd, and then they're in some big-time trouble down low.
Well, and remember, too, the depth has already been hurt by Capital thanks to the injury to Kurt Geisey. So already some depth issues for Capital here in this game. And now a charge is going to be called against Marcus Dempsey. Boy, I can see that one from a mile away.
Yeah, it wasn't even that great a positioning from Wildermuth, really, but he was just completely plowed over. No control of the body there from Dempsey, an easy call.
You see, that works in football, but not basketball.
Yeah.
Muskingum 28, Capital 21. 6:24 remaining in the first half. Capital shooting 45% from the field, but the offense has been having a hard time getting off the ground. Keys might have altered that shot a little bit as G went up for a layup, and now Hanna with a rejection of his own on the other end as Marcus Dempsey made a bid for 2. So now coming back in from Muskingum will be Ricky Wilson, the senior out of Newark, went to Licking Valley High School here in the Columbus area. Muskingum gets it back in to Wilson. Wilson gets it off to Dempsey. Now it goes out of bounds, and they will give the ball to the Muskies.
I wasn't sure if that was a pass or a block or what that was. Obviously hit a Capital player.
Coming in for Capital is Brandon Chukram. Taking the place of G. Yahaya out on there on the floor.
And these are all players that we mentioned in the pregame show. Charlie needed to get something off the bench from these guys, and all seen a little bit more playing time due to the injury to Geisey, and I think Coach is looking for someone that's going to stick in this lineup.
Question becomes, who's going to provide that spark for Capital? And boy, do they need a spark in a big way or what? Trailing Muskingum 28-21 with 5:55 left to play in the first half. Davon Pert on the left wing. Passes off to Marsh. Marsh dribbling, driving towards the hoop. Step back Jay. That is no good, and the rebound's taken by Schreck. Schreck. Now it's over to Hanna. Hanna driving in. Hanna has his shot blocked, gets his own rebound, but misses the shot, and the rebound taken by Marsh. Marsh on the left wing. Marsh trying to drive on in, but he's cut off by Schreck. Passes it off to Wilson. Wilson now it ricochets, and a turnover for Capital as that went off the hands of Pert. Dempsey now guarding Wildermuth. Now it's bounced all the way over to Schreck. Schreck driving in. Reverse layup is good for Austin Schreck. Muskingum 28, Capital 23. 5 minutes left to play in the first half. Davon Pert dribbling around, nearly losing the ball. Great defense by Wildermuth. Pert back outside for three. Wilson not able to knock it down, and Wildermuth grabs the rebound for Capital. He'll push it ahead to Chukram. Chukram back out to Schreck. Schreck over to Hanna. Hanna driving in, and Hanna able to score off the glass and in. And now a timeout's going to be taken by Muskingum. Let's take a timeout as well. 4:34 remaining in the first half. It's Muskingum 28, Capital 25. You're listening to men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay out for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
4:34 remaining in the first half. Muskingum leading Capital 28-25. One of the big reasons why Capital's gotten back into this game, Jimmy, Muskingum has gone cold from the field.
Yeah, they haven't made a field goal since the 8:56 mark, over 4 minutes of a drought that they've scored. And like we said, that was the point when I said Capital really needs to show us something here in the next few minutes, and they've responded. And now
Page almost throwing it away, but it is saved. Boy, that might have been an over and back by Marsh, but somehow he saves it for Muskingum. Jumper, Dempsey knocks it down.
I don't know what it is about his shot. Kind of looking like Kevin Durant right now. A defender's all over him, and he's just got too high of a release that the shot's not even being altered.
He's got weird arc on his ball. That's what I've kind of noticed. A drive on the inside, and Austin Schreck comes through for Capital with two.
Just keep pounding it down low. That's where they're making all their points tonight.
Muskingum 30, Capital 27. 3:45 remaining in the first half. Rebound by Jamison. Off the miss by Muskingum. Hanna to Schreck. Schreck trying to drive on in, back out to Wildermuth. Hanna for three, and not able to knock it down. It rims in and out.
Where's the home rims on that one?
Jarrell Marsh with the rebound for Muskingum. He'll hoist a three, and he'll knock it down.
Just all over him, too. They've made some really tough shots tonight. They're shooting over 50%, but Cap's defense has been really good for a good stretch of this game.
There's a reason why Muskingum has been averaging nearly 90 points a game. Leading Capital 33-27. 3:07 left to play in the first half. They'll go inside. Jamison, hook shot, no good. And the rebound is taken by Muskingum's Jacob Geller. Now it's Jarrell Marsh back the other way, and he got hit shooting a three. That's the second time tonight that Capital has been caught fouling a three-point shooter, so now Marsh will head to the free throw line.
Yeah, I don't know how you can continue to let that happen a second time. Marsh today has been very quiet. He has 7 points. He just made that last possession. But other than that, he's been pretty quiet today.
Marsh makes his first free throw attempt. Just want to remind you, folks, that coming up we'll have the Rusty Bucket halftime show for you on this Thursday night. We won't have a lot of scores to talk about tonight, but we'll delve into the stats and so much more on the Rusty Bucket halftime show.
And we could talk a little bit about the games that happened yesterday. There was a Tuesday game as well. So every team in conference 2 games in besides these two teams, obviously. And heading into this Saturday with Otterbein. Should be a fun little rivalry week across the OAC.
Both free throws made by Marsh, and now Capital in a hole. They trail Muskingum 36-27 with 2:49 remaining in the first half. Floater in the lane, that is no good for Jaden O'Neal. Still a battle for it. O'Neal gets it back out to Jamison. Now another loose ball, and finally Jackson gets it back for Capital. Nice hustle by O'Neal. Scrappy young player for Capital. Jackson, top of the arc, dribbling around, gets it in. Nate Boone, power dribble, up and in for Nate Boone.
Good find from Jackson, and again, obviously Coach Goodwin has seen what I've seen, and there's a weakness down low, and they got to keep attacking it.
Muskingum 36, Capital 29. Skip in the corner, Marsh for three. That is no good, and the rebound is taken by Joey Weingartner. Weingartner has it poked away now, and Dempsey comes up with the turnover for Muskingum. Keys on the right wing. Boy, some hectic couple of minutes here at the Capitol Center before we go to halftime.
Huge mismatch right now. Marsh is guarded by Jamison. Jamison switches off him. Now Weingartner's on him at least.
Marsh with 14 on the shot clock. He's at the top of the arc. Turn Weingartner around like a top, but Weingartner sticks with him, but Marsh gets the bucket to go and a foul.
That's not the matchup they're looking for on Marsh. It's a little bit better than Jamison, but still not the right matchup there. Muskingum finds it, and that's an easy two, and then they get the foul as well.
So Marsh will be at the free throw line now to try to complete the three-point play. His shot is up and good. Largest deficit of the night for Capitals. They trail by 10 against Muskingum, 39-29 with 1:40 left to play in the first half. Tyrell Jackson over to O'Neal. O'Neal to Boone. Boone, top of the arc, dribbling to his right. Now it's over to Weingartner. Weingartner trying to find Boone, does so. Boone will let loose the jumper from the foul line and knock it down.
He's looked good offensively when he's able to stay on the floor because of the foul trouble, Charlie. That's been the story for him all year round.
Muskingum 39, Capital 31, 1:13 remaining in the first half. A reminder, Rusty Bucket halftime show coming up. Page on the left wing. Guarded by Weingartner, now back out to Dempsey. Dempsey over to Marsh. It's back out to Dempsey now at the top of the arc. 9 on the shot clock. Dempsey almost let loose the jumper, finds Page in the corner. That's no good. Keys loses the ball, and the loose ball is picked up by Capital in the form of Tyrell Jackson. Jackson over to O'Neal. O'Neal off the glass, and it rolls out. Oh, he missed the shot as Jarrell Marsh comes up with a rebound for Muskingum. Tough bounce there. Boone with the block. Out of bounds. It'll be Capital ball.
Almost turned that into a 4-point swing.
Couple of substitutions now for Capital. Coming in, Will Hanna and also Caleb Mitchell.
They've gone super small now with Mitchell at the 5, but I guess Hanna's at the 4. It's more of a 2-guard.
30 seconds and counting. 21 on the shot clock. And O'Neal is going to hold this ball for as long as he can. He's got 12 on the shot clock. 10 on the shot clock. O'Neal dribbling to his right. 7 on the shot clock. Dribbling to his left. Back out to Jackson. Jackson, jumper. Tyrell not able to get it to go. Tip in is good for Hanna.
Hanna is starting to show us a little bit of what we saw from him last year.
4 seconds. Marsh dribbling up the floor. Marsh not able to get the shot to go. So now we will head to halftime. It is Muskingum 39, Capital 33. Coming up, we'll have the Rusty Bucket halftime show for you and much more. This is your home for Capital Men's Basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll.
it down. Welcome back to the Capitol Center. Welcome into the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show. Alongside Jimmy Bloomfield, I'm Charlie Danis. At the half, it is Muskingum 39, Capitol 33. Speaking of scores, let's take you around the OAC with our OAC scoreboard update, brought to you by Jersey Mike's Subs and Sandwiches. Well, Jimmy, we don't have games tonight, but we have had some games this week, starting on Tuesday. It was Marietta all over Otterbein, 79-54. And then on Wednesday, you had a barn burner at John Carroll. The Blue Streaks up and Mount Union 91-89 in that game. Baldwin Wallace with a similar close result, knocking off Heidelberg 67-64. And finally, Ohio Northern taking care of business against Wilmington 83-69.
Yeah, I mean, we're still kind of waiting for these teams to sort themselves out. Obviously, it's been 2 games in, but Muskingum has looked really impressive. Marietta, obviously, one of those teams sticking out as well, and we're still trying to figure out where Otterbein, John Carroll, Heidelberg, teams like that all fit into the mix.
Meanwhile, the women's team for Capital, they're on the road. They're at Muskingum tonight. And so far, a good start for the Crusaders in that one. They lead Muskie 11-5 with 4:38 left to play in the first half. Some of the players standing out so far for Capital. Colleen Fondesty, she's got 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting, and also 3 points for Meredith Ovies in that game. So nice to see that the women's team is off to a nice start. They need a bounce-back win, Jimmy.
They sure do. I think they hung pretty tough with Ohio Northern. I think that having them as their first conference game was not the best scheduling that Capital could have hoped for. That's the premier team in this conference right now, and Ohio Northern played like it. They played a really good game. Capital's bench came to play. Wish I could say the same about the starting lineup. But obviously, Coach sticking with them. She used the same starting 5 again tonight. We'll see how many minutes they play as compared to what they played against Ohio Northern. And again, I think that was a really tough matchup for Capital. And I'm really interested in seeing that second matchup between those two teams. It will be on the road, but I think Capital will have a much better showing. They're just still a young team, still trying to find themselves right now. And it's just going to be a process. As I said in the pregame show, stick with this team. I think they can be, as we look into the second half of play in the conference, I think that's when they're really going to start to shine.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the stats from our first half of play. Muskingum leading Capital 39-33 at the half. This is the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan, right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan, right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
Welcome back to the Capitol Center. Welcome back to the Rusty Bucket Halftime Show. At the half, it is Muskingum leading Capital 39-33. Let's now take a look at the halftime stats. These are brought to you by Planks Cafe and Pizzeria. First for Muskingum. 13 points for Jarrell Marsh. That is best for the Muskies. Followed closely behind by Marcus Dempsey. Dempsey 5 of 8 from the field, 2 of 2 from the three-point line. 5 points for Joshua Keys, 2 points for Ricky Wilson. 7 points for Jalen Page, and that's about it when it comes to the scoring for Muskingum. Muskies shot 50% from the field, an impressive 5 of 12 from three-point range, good for 42%, and they were also 8 of 10 from the foul line, good for 80%. Meanwhile, for Capital, their leading scorer was Austin Schreck. He had 8 points on 3 of 5 shooting, also a perfect 2 of 2 from the foul line. 7 points for Nate Boone. 4 points for Tyler Jamison, 2 points each for Joey Weingartner and Kayla Mitchell, 4 points each for Will Hanna and Ganayu Yahaya, and 2 points for Dan Abel. As a team, Capital shot 45.5% from the field, only 1 of 8 from three-point range, good for 12.5%, and 2 of 3 from the foul line, good for 66.7%. Muskingum has out-rebounded Capital 18-16. In terms of assists, Capital 6, Muskingum 3. 3 blocks for Muskingum, 1 for Capital. Turnovers, Muskingum has 6, Capital only 4, and 3 steals for Capital as opposed to only 2 for Muskingum. Jimmy, what stood out to you?
Bench points, Capital at 12, Muskingum at 0. 3 bench shots, really. They had Pert, Chupa, and Geller each take 1, and all of them missed their shots. And all of their points have come from their starting lineup against Ohio Northern. All 5 starters for Ohio Northern had double figures in their game as well, 2 already in double figures for Muskingum here tonight. Also sticking out to me is the fact that Capital's 2 leading scorers, Joey Weingartner and Tyrell Jackson, are a combined 2 points right now. And, I mean, that's just not getting it done, obviously. 1 for 5 shooting. The fact that they've only taken 5 shots says a lot as well. As a team, Capital has shot the ball 33 times. Muskingum has shot it 26 times, and the big difference is the perimeter. 5 of 12 from outside from Muskingum, 1 for 8 from outside from Capital.
Capital trying to get back on the winning side of things after being crushed by Ohio Northern the other night, and right now they are up against Muskingum as they trail the Muskies 39-33. Jimmy, who's your halftime hero?
Well, it's got to be Dempsey for the way he's played. I know he's I think Marsh has more points than him right now, but Dempsey was the one that was carrying the load early and often for him. He has made a lot of tough shots. If he keeps taking those shots, I think Capital's going to be in a little bit better shape because I don't know how he can keep making them all night. But he's got to be the player right now, 12 points and an assist for him, but really just set the tone from the early going. Marsh has kind of chipped in at the end, and he has 13 points and 5 rebounds now, so very well he could end up as our player of the game, one of the best players in this conference. But I'm going to give it to Dempsey. He set the tone, gave Muskingum an early lead, and they haven't really looked back since.
Let's go ahead and revisit your keys, Jimmy, as well as we get set for the second half.
Yeah, the first was the perimeter, and obviously it's not going well. Again, 5 for 12 from Muskingum, 40% from outside, and Capital's made just 1 3-pointer tonight. So that's obviously a big loss there. The turnovers we talked about, that's going well right now. They've only forced 6, which is on pace for 12, 3 more than they usually do, so that's still pretty good. And they only turned it over 4 times. The problem with the turnovers, and I was going to say this point, but I never really got a chance to in that first half, they're getting the turnovers and then they're pushing the pace and then they just keep pulling the dribble back out. And they're not getting the easy shot. And Coach Goodwin was getting upset with that as well. And that's just kind of a lack of smart basketball, really. You got 3-on-2 numbers. You have to use it, even if it's just a foul that you get out of it. Get to the rack and do something with it. And it's just been an issue for them. And the bench, we talked about needing to step up. Will Hanna's looked really good. Yahaya's obviously given them some good minutes. He's only played 7 minutes. I like to see him out there a little bit more. 12 total bench points for them, 12 of the 33. But, again, it's on Weingartner and Jackson right now. They need to get going.
When we come back, we will have the second half here at the Capital Center. Capital needs to get something going as they trail Muskingum 39-33 coming out of the locker room. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Just as fresh as its pizza, Donato's is fresh off of its 50th anniversary and still serving the Columbus area with pride. Now introducing online ordering, Donato's Pizza is ready for your order at any time from anywhere. Donato's also features a gluten-free menu and will even cater your next big event. Donato's Pizza in Bexley is located at 2800 East Main Street and is available by phone at 614-235-4477. Donato's Pizza, proud supporter of Capital Crusader Athletics. Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
Welcome back to the Capital Center, getting set for second half action between Muskingum and Capital. And folks, by the way, while we have a moment, just want to let you know that on Saturday, special doubleheader, Otterbein coming to town, Jimmy.
Yep, that's always the most fun game to do. No disrespect to the rest of the players, the rest of the teams out there, but that's always the fun one, especially with it being a doubleheader. Crowd's usually pretty good for both games. The men's game's going to be first, and I think that's smart. Hopefully a lot will stick around for the women's game too, and should be fun. I mean, Otterbein, again, they beat Ohio Wesleyan in this building, so they've got a pretty good team this year. They've had a rough start to their conference schedule, but they're playing some of the tougher teams, and that's probably why they're 0-2. They've been a much improved team as well, much like Muskingum.
Men's game will start at 1 o'clock. Women's game tentatively scheduled for 3 o'clock. All that happening on Saturday afternoon. Meanwhile, Capital trailing Muskingum here 39-33, just underway here in the second half. Keys back outside, three-pointer, and that one is good for Ricky Wilson.
Wasting no time getting started again.
Kind of like how they started this game, honestly, with a very quick bucket. 9-point lead already for Muskingum, 42-33. 19 and a half to go here in the second half. Boone, turnaround Jay. That's no good. Loose ball. Jackson caught it. No.
Wow.
I thought that was off of Jackson, but okay, now they give it to Muskingum.
The official just pointed the wrong way there.
Interesting. Because Jackson clearly grabbed it, but the problem was he was out of bounds.
He landed out of bounds and just gave the ball to the official, headed up the floor, and then he saw him pointing the other way, so he stopped.
Page will bounce it on over now to Jerome Marsh. Marsh on the right wing.
Mismatch, clear out.
Still dribbling around as he's got Boone on him defensively. Marsh dribbling to his left, now gives up the ball with 8 on the shot clock. Page gets it on over. Dempsey, jumper, that's no good, and the rebound is taken by Schreck.
I don't like that. Marsh had the mismatch. They got to get it back to him.
Weingartner dribbles around the baseline. Jackson trying to dribble on in, now back out to Weingartner. 18 on the shot clock. Weingartner at the top of the arc. 13 on the shot clock now. Schreck on the left wing, gives off to Boone. Boone to Jackson on the right wing. Tyrell will dribble in. Jumper from the right elbow is good.
And if that's the shot he needs to get himself going, that's fine. Not the easiest shot from the elbow there, but maybe it's a spot on the floor he likes to shoot from. And, again, him and Weingartner, they've got to get going.
Page drives on in, off the glass. No good, but Keys with the offensive board. Marsh with the three ball, and it's good.
Jamison did his job. He has to protect the rim. He absolutely did. Someone from the help side has to come and box out Keys.
Schreck dribbles in and scores. Nice move by Schreck.
Yeah, Keys almost looked like he just gave him the lane there and didn't want to get a foul, like he's in foul trouble or something, but he has just one.
Jarrell Marsh trying to dribble in. Got a little fancy there, a little too fancy as Weingartner picks his pocket. Weingartner off the glass, no good. Jamison, offensive board, and now a foul is going to be called on the inside against, I think, Keys.
That's his second. Weingartner, good defense. And you said it, he got fancy with the triple moves, and Weingartner just stood there like a statue. Just, you got to keep your eyes on the waist. That's what they teach you. Can't go anywhere without your waist, and he just left the ball. Good job on the defensive end.
So now Jamison at the foul line. First shot by the Capital big man is no good.
That did not look good. Looked like a catapult motion on the shot there.
Well, at least he hit the rim.
Yeah, you see him practicing his stroke there. That looked a little better in the practice. I think
a little off kilter. Maybe if I straighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, he'll get this one here.
Second free throw on the way for Jamison. It is up. This time much better.
There you
it's
go.
Good.
Trial and error, I guess, first time.
Repetition, repetition, repetition. Muskingum 45, Capital 38. 17:35 left to play in the second half. So a lot of basketball left to be played here at the Capital Center. Keys being guarded by Jamison. And Keys lets up a wild shot. Somehow finds a way to get it to go. Lead back up to 9 for Muskingum. Schreck to Jackson. Jackson will let loose a three. That's no good. Jackson gets his own rebound and scores.
He's starting to get going. And maybe a few outside shots are next from him.
Page. Now on the right wing. Capital trailing Muskingum 47-40 with just over 17 minutes to play. Keys, long three ball. That's no good. Jamison gets fouled by Keys, and now he's got three fouls.
That's not a smart play there to get the third foul. That's going to get up, I believe, Geller to come in for him now.
And you are correct. Well, actually, Robbie Heisey will be coming in, Jimmy.
Excuse me. He has 2 fouls as well, so keep an eye on that. Number 34 just checking in.
Already 2 team fouls on Muskingum here in the early parts of the second half.
It's interesting. Keys hasn't shot a 3-pointer all year round, and now he's shot, I think that was his second one here tonight. He made his first one trying to get Jamison away from the basket with that outside shot.
Jackson to Schreck. Now they go inside the Jamison. Jamison on the right block. Back out to Schreck. Corner 3, no good, and the rebound is taken by Dempsey. Dempsey, cross half court. Now on the left wing. Dempsey, the sharpshooter, driving on in, and the shot rolls off the rim, no good. Jackson gets the rebound. Now it is stolen back from Marsh. Now it's Schreck, and let's see here, over and back.
Yeah, there's no foul. It was hit off of Marsh's own knee there, and that's why the over and back is called. A good call from the official down here on the near side.
16:25 remaining in the second half. Muskingum 47, Capital 40. Schreck on the right wing. Now over to Weingartner. Weingartner back to Schreck. Now it's back to Weingartner. Joey driving on in. Reverse layup, no good. Wild shot. Schreck somehow gets the offensive board. And now Weingartner turns it over to Dempsey. It's been a rough night for Joey. Meanwhile, Marsh on the other end scoops and scores.
Yeah, Weingartner, I don't know if he got fouled or what that stumble was on that drive. Should have been a travel.
Driving on in. Shot will not count. Foul on the inside against Muskingum. Third foul of the second half on the Muskies.
Looks like Wilson gets hit with that one. Auble coming back on for Cap.
For Weingartner, who comes to the bench. Yeah, so it's been one of those nights for Joey. He has not been able to get on track offensively.
You mentioned it, though. 3 team fouls already. If they can get into the bonus early in this half, they have just 0 fouls themselves, so that's good looking on the scoreboard at least. Now another cheap foul, it looks like.
It looks like the foul is going to be called against Geller. Now he has 3. And that's the 4th team foul on Muskingum. Stay tuned, folks. This might turn out to be big here down the line. Jamison to Auble. Auble to Jackson. Long jumper. That's good for Tyrell.
Knew that one was in, coming around the screen. Gets it, that shot that he likes from that right elbow. I think that's the spot they need to keep attacking.
15:32 remaining in the second half. Muskingum 49, Capital 42. Page dribbles to Marsh. Marsh losing it. And now Schreck pokes it away. Jamison comes up with the steal. To Jackson. Jackson throws it away to Dempsey now. And Muskingum coming back the other way.
Carry.
And now a carry for Muskingum.
Well, he's kind of been doing it all night. They finally called it on him. It's amazing how they let you get away with it 5, 6, 7 times, and then you do it again, and all of a sudden now it's illegal.
Well, at some point it's going to be called. Dan Auble will bring it across midcourt. Capital trailing Muskingum 49-42 with 15:05 left to play in the second half. Schreck dribbling, twisting, turning off the glass and in. Boy, that spin move inside for Schreck has been there all night long, Jimmy.
Yeah, he's just using his size right now, and the guys guarding him just cannot keep up with that move. They've tried 2 or 3 different defenders on him now.
Page will bounce it on over to Heisey. Heisey will drive on in and score.
Wow. A little bit surprising to see that going right at Jamison, and he's able to get the finger roll.
Nice play by the senior from Bellbrook, Ohio. Jackson for 3. Tyrell knocks it down.
He's feeling it now, Charlie. He just needed a couple of those 2-pointers to get him going. I don't know if that was the scheme or if that's the shots that just came available, but I think Jackson's ready to go now.
Muskingum 51, Capital 47. Page back out to Chupa. Chupa now over to Geller. Geller will now hand off to Dempsey. 12 on the shot clock. Dempsey looking for a screen. Dempsey dribbling to his left. Long jumper. That's no good for Dempsey. And the rebound taken by Nate Boone.
Jamison pretty much dared him to shoot it.
Tyrell Jackson on the right wing. Over to Boone at the top of the arc. Auble now with the ball on the left wing. Now roll in. Boone off the glass and in for Nate Boone. And now a timeout is going to be taken by Muskingum. We'll take a timeout as well. Muskingum 51, Capital 49 with 13:51 left to play in the second half. This is your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse, only nature does it better.
13:51 remaining in the second half. It is Muskingum leading Capital 51-49 while we have a moment. Just getting you an update on how the women's team is doing. 4:01 remaining in the second quarter. It's Capital leading Muskingum 27-26. Leading scorer for Capital on that one is Colleen Fondesi with 8 points, followed by Meredith Ovies, who has 6 points. So the women's team looking good on the road. The men's team, meanwhile, trying to come back from a big deficit against Muskingum. They were trailing the Muskies by as much as 10. So now Muskingum will get the ball. Jacob Geller will inbound it to his teammate, Davon Pert. Pert, the Reynoldsburg native, bringing the ball up the court, past midcourt. And now the light is turning red on the backboard as Pert will put up a shot. That's no good. Rebound taken.
They got Shrek. I'm assuming they're going to have to stop play. Actually, the flashing finally stopped on the backboard there. Not sure what happened there.
Abel trying to get it in to G, but G was denied defensively by Marsh. Now they get inside of Jamison. Back out for three. Shrek knocks it down. Capital regains the lead, 52-51. 13-10 remaining in regulation. Marsh almost losing it. Shrek slams into the board, but not able to get it. Marsh somehow gets it back. Twisting, turning, Marsh not able to get the ball to go. It goes off of G's hands, out of bounds. It will be Muskingum ball, but oh, what great hustle by Shrek.
And they are stopping play to keep an eye on the scorer's table. Ryan down there with Chad. They look like they're okay.
Well, I'm sure they're okay. They're not the ones that went battering ram with their head like Shrek did.
And they're making sure the scoreboards are working and everything looks okay.
Yeah, the backboard to our left was flashing red.
It's like a carnival game where they're like, shoot here, shoot here. It's very weird.
10 points. A block by Jamison, and he gets it back. Now it's ahead to G. G driving around, and he got fouled at the last moment by Pert. Otherwise, he would have stuffed that one.
Yeah, you knew his eyes were probably nice and big there, looking at the rim, wanting to finish that one.
So Yahaya will now head to the free throw line. Ganahu Yahaya. As Jimmy mentioned earlier in the broadcast, not only does he play for the men's basketball team, but starting next year, he will also be playing men's soccer here at Capital. And the free throw's no good for G.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun to see if he's got any kind of athleticism on the soccer field like he does here. That's going to be a pretty nasty combination. They got another striker, Collins, who's just as fast, and the two of them up front could be a lot of fun for the soccer team.
Second free throw is good for G. 53-51 lead for Capital.
It's a 13-2 run for the Crusaders, by the way, here in the last few minutes.
12:52 remaining in the second half. Pert will now bring it across court for Muskingum. Pert on the right wing. Keys, and it's thrown off the back of the head of Abel, and Jamison collects the loose ball for Capital.
Yeah, luckily this isn't football. It would have been pass interference because it didn't look back for the pass, but it
Abel
works.
to Jamison. Tyrell knocks it down from downtown.
He's feeling it, man.
Capital 56, Muskingum 51. 12:22 remaining.
13 of his 15 in the second half, and it's only been 8 minutes.
Pert driving. And he got fouled by Jamison on his way to the 10, so now Pert will head to the free throw line. But, man, Jimmy, this run has been impressive by Capital.
Sure has. And now a decision time for Coach with the third foul for Jamison. It looks like he is going to bring in Mitchell. You hate to break up this unit that's been bringing you back in the game, but you got to be smart about it. You got him and Boone both with 3 fouls now. And I wanted to say something about Boone before the timeout, too. I mean, he has looked so good with his footwork down low. He obviously is a very skilled offensive player. If he can stop getting into foul trouble, he's going to be a nice asset for the Crusaders through conference play.
Both free throws are good for Muskingum. It's a 56-53 lead for Capital with 12:09 remaining in the second half. Shrek on the right wing. And a foul is going to be called against Dempsey.
It's the 6th. So no more fouls to give for Muskingum.
One more foul by Muskingum, and Capital will be shooting free throws the rest of the way here. So Abel will inbound it from the near side, gets it into G. Now it's back to Abel. 27 on the shot clock. Plenty of time for the Crusaders to work with. G on the left wing, gets it inside to Mitchell. And Mitchell will be called for a traveling violation.
I didn't really see it. I don't know if you did.
I didn't really see it. Mitchell, a young sophomore, still trying to figure his way out. We didn't see too much of Mitchell last year, did we, Jimmy?
No, I believe is he a transfer? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's right.
Yeah, now I remember. Keys. Now over to Wilson. Pert. Pull up J is good.
Ooh. They have made a lot of those shots, Charlie, and even if half of them don't fall, Capital's up by 10 right now.
I'd love to see them practice jumpers if you're Muskingum. They must do it a lot. Yahaya doesn't get the roll. Keys loses it. Now there's a loose ball. And now a timeout's going to be called.
Nah, Mitchell was standing out of bounds when he touched the ball there. There was fouls all over the place there. First on the shot attempt.
It was a free-for-all.
And then Mitchell inadvertently almost punched a player going for the ball, and they were just letting it settle itself, I guess. They've been calling a lot of chippy fouls against Muskingum, and then a lot of contact there from Keys on Yahaya on the shot there. They didn't call it.
Back in the game for Capital is Joey Weingartner. Let's see if Joey can do something positive here for Capital. He's had a rough night. Meanwhile, jumper no good, but Marcus Dempsey was hacked, so now he'll head to the free throw line.
There's something with his release point. I don't know what it is. I think if we were down there in the court, we'd have a little bit of a better angle on it.
Well, it's not only his release point, Jimmy. It's also how he kicks his legs back. Have you kind of noticed that with his jumper?
Durant does the same thing where he kind of fades back every time he shoots. Got long arms, so you can't block it. And it's kind of what's happening with Dempsey. Not that he has the scoring prowess of a Kevin Durant, but
not a lot of people do.
Right. He's doing a great job of using his body to kind of kick away, separate, and you really can't block his shot.
Second free throw missed, but Dempsey made his first, and now we're tied at 56. 10:55 remain in the second half. Jackson dribbling to his left on the left wing. Now it's over to Weingartner. Weingartner trying to decide what to do with the ball. Finally gets it over to Abel. 11 on the shot clock. Abel, and now a foul is going to be called against Caleb Mitchell.
Come on, that's a little bit of an acting job there as well from Pert, but anything to get the call, I guess you respect it.
You got to sell it. You got to sell it.
He did. I mean, he had this large flailing motion and then turned around as soon as he heard the whistle and smiled. He knew that he got the call based on his acting ability there.
Your envelope from the academy will be in the mailbox next week. Almost losing it was Marsh, and yeah, I was going to say, you got to make a call on that. If that isn't a double dribble, I don't know what is.
Another turnover.
Marsh is a good player, but boy, we have seen a lot of plays in this game, Jimmy, where he is just getting way too cute with his ball handling.
I think I'd take the trade-off, though. 18 points already for him. That's his season average, and he's still got 10 minutes to go.
Shrek over to Weingartner. Weingartner gets a screen from Boone, but then passes out to Abel. Abel almost losing it, and Pert with the foul. So now Capital will be shooting free throws the rest of the way here. So Dan Abel, the 6', 170-pound freshman from Brecksville, Ohio, will head to the free throw line. Abel on the season. Perfect 4 of 4, make it 5 of 5 from the free throw line. He's had to play a lot more minutes than usual with the injury to Kirk Geisy, and the second free throw is good for Abel. So a perfect 6 of 6 on the foul line this season for Abel. More importantly, Capital regains the lead 58-56. 10-12 remaining in the second half. Keys inside, goes up, misses. Jamison saves it. Boone with a deflection. Marsh gets it back from Muskingum, drives in, misses. Keys gets the offensive board. Now it's back out. Three-pointer. That's no good. Rebound taken by Austin Shrek.
Go.
Shrek going up the floor. Driving in. Shrek misses the shot. And Keys with a defensive board. After all that madness, Capital still up 58-56. 9:40 left to play in regulation. Rejected by Jamison. as Marsh did not get it. Shrek running the floor. It is going to be a charge against Shrek. I don't know about that.
Wilson's feet just completely sliding in the paint to get in position. There's no way he was there. That's just a bad call.
So now coming back in will be Jalen Page, Vandalia, Ohio native.
I don't like that one bit, Charlie.
I can tell. Robbie Heisey, meanwhile, will check back in for Muskingum.
And again, that's what we talked about at halftime. 2 turnovers there, and they get 0 points out of it when they should have been getting to the free throw line at the very least.
Loose ball. Now it's fed ahead to Shrek. Shrek will go up, got fouled, missed a shot, but he'll head to the free throw line. Boy, Shrek has been a playmaking machine tonight.
At least got to the free throw line, and Marsh definitely got a good one there on him. Going to make it earn it.
Austin Shrek with 15 points to go along with 8 rebounds.
Wow. Quiet 15.
Yes. Yeah, that definitely snuck up on me when I read that. And make it 16 with the made free throw. 59-56, Capital with a 3-point lead. Coming back in from Muskingum is actually Andrew Robinson. We haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of him tonight.
And remember, Weingartner still's at 2 points right now, Charlie, and he's good for 10 usually at night. He owes us 8 right now.
Second free throw good for Shrek.
They need those 8 points.
Capital 60, Muskingum 56. 9-12 remaining in regulation. Dempsey will pass it on over to Page. Thought he was going to shoot that one. Page, he'll let loose a 3. That's no good. And the rebound is taken by Shrek. Boy, he might have a double-double by the time tonight ends. Abel on the right wing. Now he passes it back out to Shrek. Shrek on the left wing. Over to Boone. Boone will pass on over to Abel with 15 on the shot clock. Abel now to Weingartner. Joey back to Dan. Dan now into Tyler. Jamison on the right block, looking for some help. Back out to Shrek. 3 on the shot clock. Shrek lofts up the tough J. That's no good. Gets his own rebound, and he was fouled. Missed the shot, but once again, Shrek going to the charity stripe.
That's his double-double right there, too. 17 and 10 now.
And when you can get that from your point guard, you will take it every time.
Russ Westbrook out here. Needs some assists to get that triple-double, though.
Yeah. First free throw, no good for Shrek. Shrek does have 2 assists on the night, FYI.
And he's usually a very good rebounder. Double-checking the stats right now. He looks like he's
he was the leading rebounder for Capital from a season ago,
right? He is the 3rd leading rebounder this year, trailing Jackson and Jamison, and I think he's going to catch Jackson.
Second free throw good for Shrek.
Outside of Jamison and maybe Boone, if he can stay out on the floor, Shrek's going to be definitely in the top 3 of rebounding for Cap this year.
Capital 61, Muskingum 56. 8:25 remaining in regulation. Ball poked away. Abel will go to the floor, but Page gets it back from Muskingum. Page will have it go out of bounds, but it went off the hands of Shrek apparently, so Muskingum will keep the ball with 19 on the shot clock. They'll inbound it from the far side. Inbounding it from Muskingum will be Dempsey. Dempsey will be face guarded by Weingartner, but he'll successfully get it into Keys. Now it's back to Dempsey. Dempsey with 13 on the shot clock. Top of the arc. He'll drive on in. And it's out of bounds, and it'll be Capital ball. Boy, there was a lot of flailing on
I mean, that was the word I was going to use too, Charlie. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish there. I think he was trying to shoot and then wanted to pass out of it, and there's just nothing there. And like you said, a lot of flailing.
Shrek to Jamison. 3. Joey swishes it through. I'll tell you what. Tyler Jamison's passes from the interior have been magnificent tonight for Capital.
And Cap's 4 for 5 from 3 in this half now, Charlie.
Dempsey misses it. Shrek on the fast break. 3-pointer on the way for Abel. Abel knocks it down.
5 of 6.
Capital 67, Muskingum 56. Largest lead of the ball game for Capital. And now a timeout's going to be taken by Muskingum. We will step aside. 7:32 remaining in the second half. Capital 67, Muskingum 56. Here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
7:32 remaining in the second half. Capital has opened up a 67-56 lead over Muskingum here in the latter stages of the second half. And while we're talking about scores, they're at the half at Muskingum. The women's team for Capital trailing the Muskies in that one 33-29. Leading score for Capital, two of them, Colleen Fondesi and Meredith Ovies, each have 8. Leading score for Muskingum, meanwhile, Mallory Taylor, she has got 11 points. But back to our game. Boy, Jimmy, offensive explosion here for Capital as of late. Yes, they've been making the buckets, but they've been doing a great job of sharing the basketball.
Yeah, and they're making extra passes. They're in transition, too. Muskingum's having trouble just getting it into their half-court set, and that's been a big factor as well.
Page on the left wing. Over to Jarrell Marsh. Marsh driving on in, off the glass, and in. This ball game is not over yet by any of the stretch of the imagination.
No way.
Abel to Schreck. Schreck on the right wing. Schreck to Jamison. Back out to Abel. Abel will let loose a 3. Dan comes up short on that one. Ball tipped up in the air. Schreck not able to get the shot to go. Boy, that would have been magical right there. Marsh, meanwhile, on the left wing. And that is out of bounds.
Yep.
Capital ball. The bounce pass went out of bounds on the end line.
Jamison is a bit shaken up, it looks like. He tripped at mid-quarter, maybe got shoved.
I was going to say, he took a little bit of a tumble down the floor. Schreck racing in, and Schreck not able to get the shot to go. Gets his own rebound. Still a battle for it. Boone gets it for Capital. Back out to Abel, and now he'll calm things down.
Yeah, I mean, play the pace now. You got Muskingum flustered already. Slow things down. Protect your lead. Jackson's coming back in next dead ball, too.
Boone near the top of the arc. They go inside. Schreck double teamed, has his shot blocked by Jacob Geller, but Capital gets it back. Weingartner will go in. Count the bucket and a foul for Joey. What a play there for Weingartner.
We told you that they needed to get Weingartner and Jackson going. Combined, they're over, I think, 12 points now in this half.
How about this, Jimmy? Muskingum led at the half 39-33. Capital has outscored them 34-19 in the second half.
Yeah, and they were up by 10. Muskingum was with 1:46 to go in the half, and now it's an 11-point spread. So obviously a 21-point swing in the better part of 14, 15 minutes.
Free throw good for Weingartner. Capital 70, Muskingum 58. Think about that for just a second. Muskingum, a team that's been averaging nearly 90 points a game. They're stuck at 58 right now. Jarrell Marsh, top of the arc. Now it's over to Ricky Wilson. Wilson got fouled by Boone, and Boone swings both of his arms in frustration. Now coming in for Muskingum is Davon Pert. Pert in for Page, and for Capital, Will Hanna. Provides some good quality minutes off the bench for Capital near the end of the first half. He'll come in for Nate Boone. Pert will inbound it from the baseline. Keys being guarded by Jamison. Now it's over to Pert, who will run the point guard for Muskingum. Pert will drive on in, and a foul called against Capital. Should be mentioned here, Capital's got 6 fouls. Muskingum, meanwhile, they're in the double bonus. 2 free throws for Capital the rest of the way.
Just be smart. Don't foul. You're up by 12. Make them earn some tough shots, but don't foul.
Pert over to Dempsey in the corner. Passed all the way around to Marsh for 3. That's no good. Jamison with a tip over to Jackson for Capital. Weingartner cross midcourt. He'll go inside. Jumper is good for Joey. And now a timeout's going to be taken by Capital. Let's step aside once again. 5:43 remain in the second half. Capital 72, Muskingum 58 here on your home for Crusaders men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC. Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
It's all good. And Dak Prescott's not that bad, guy. Welcome back to the Capital Center. 5:43 remaining in the second half. Capital ahead 72-58 of Muskingum. It has been a second half to remember here for Capital. They have outscored Muskingum 39-19 after halftime. Pert will hand off to Marsh. Marsh driving on in, and a charge. How about that?
We'll take it. Been a few of those kind of questionable 50-50s, but most of them have gone our way, besides that one charge a couple minutes ago that I haven't forgot about.
Tyrell Jackson, meanwhile, will inbound it. So it's Jay O'Neal that checks back in, playing in the place of Dan Auble, who, by the way, has put in yeoman's work at the point guard spot. Auble with 7 points, a couple of key three-pointers in this game. Three-pointer on the way for Hannah. That's no good. Might have gotten fouled on that shot, too, but they didn't call it. Keys with the rebound for Muskingum. Feeds it ahead to Dempsey, who almost loses it. Dempsey gets it back, however. He's now on the right wing. 20 on the shot clock. Now it's a three-pointer on the way, and that one will rattle home for Ricky Wilson. And now a foul on the inside against Jamison?
Yeah, the official looked like he was making a message there, right, going right up to Jamison and hand gesturing the foul. I don't know what that was all about.
Keys will head to the free throw line for Muskingum because that's now the 7th team foul on Capital. So Muskingum will be shooting free throws the rest of the way as well. So Keys will head to the free throw line. Jamison will check out for Capital. Nate Boone will check back in. Joshua Keys, the 6'7" senior, misses the free throw. Front end of the 1-and-1, and now Hannah grabs the rebound for Capital. Jane O'Neal will push it up. O'Neal rushes the shot, and Keys got the rebound, and now a foul is going to be called against Capital?
I'm not sure what that was all about.
I saw the referee pointing.
And Keys looked like he kind of got into it with one of the Crusaders.
Keys from time to time can run the mouth. At least that's what I've seen over the last couple of years. Shrek, meanwhile, will come in for O'Neal. So now, going back to the free throw line will be Keys. And Capital with 8 fouls as a team now. First free throw, no good. Rebound taken by Shrek.
Good as a turnover there.
4:50 remaining in the second half. Capital 72, Muskingum 61. Weingartner on the right wing. Weingartner now at the top of the arc, passes off to Tyrell, 13 on the shot clock. Joey near the top of the arc, drives on in, almost loses it, gets it back, off the glass, no good. Rebound taken by Muskingum. It's fed ahead, and Pert loses it and gets it over to Shrek. Pert just a little bit out of control that time. Hannah gets it into Shrek. Shrek off the glass and in. What a dime that right there by Hannah.
That was an awesome pass from Perth that went right to Shrek, unfortunately for him, but good job to save it.
And now a bucket and a foul. As Pert comes down the other way. Foul by Capital. I tell you what, for a game that's an 11-point edge right now for Capital, it just doesn't feel comfortable with the way the Muskingum plays.
I think they need a few more minutes here. If they can keep this lead to 3 possessions or so with 2 minutes left, I would start feeling a little bit more comfortable, but there is just too much time, like you said.
Pert misses the free throw. That'll help Capital's cause. Capital leading 74-63. 4 minutes left to play in regulation.
Get it to Austin Schreck, because he's playing like a man possessed right now.
Schreck trying to back his man down. Puts up a shot off the glass and no good. Joshua Keys with the rebound for Muskingum. Jarrell Marsh. Three-pointer on the way. That's no good. Loose ball. Rebound taken by Schreck.
20 and 15 for Austin Schreck.
Holy Moses. Schreck will now slow things down as he crosses the timeline. 3.5 to play. Capital still up 74-63. Hanna now with the ball on the right wing. Passes off to Joey on the top of the arc. Joey over to Jamison. And now a foul called against Muskingum. Looks like they're going to go put it against Ricky Wilson.
He held Will Hanna there, so Hanna will go to the line. He's given Capital solid minutes, 4 points off the bench.
Will Hanna, 6'4" sophomore out of Milford, Ohio. So now he's at the free throw line.
Same city as Caroline Hester from the women's soccer team.
There you go.
Must have, I don't know, they must know each other, I would assume.
I
can't imagine Milford,
I would imagine
Ohio.
that they cross paths at some point.
Can't imagine Milford, Ohio being the biggest place.
First free throw good for Hanna. Second free throw no good for Will Hanna. Hanna now with 5 points. 75-63 in favor of Capital. A drive on the inside. That is swatted away by Hanna.
Don't touch it.
Out of bounds,
Ooh.
and they give it to Muskingum.
Not sure which one touched it there last.
Will Hanna, I know, made a concerted effort not to touch that ball. Palms up in the air.
And Coach Goodwin looking for an explanation, Charlie.
Pert gets it into Keys. Keys straddling that baseline, loses the ball, actually stepped on the baseline, so it'll go back to Capital.
Traveled too, so kind of take your pick there, which one you wanted to call.
Either way, he was turning over the basketball for Muskingum. 75-63, Capital over Muskingum with 3:01 remaining in the second half of play. Weingartner over to Jamison. Jamison on the left wing, slipping and falling was Schreck. Jamison somehow chased the ball down for Capital, and now a foul is called against Muskingum. Actually, a timeout has been called. We'll take a timeout as well. Capital 75, Muskingum 63 with 2:49 left to play in regulation. This is your home for Crusader men's basketball, the Capital Sports Network.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
2:49 left to play in the second half. Capital leading Muskingum 75-63. That's the men's version. The women's version, meanwhile, taking place at Muskingum. 5:19 left to play in the third quarter. Capital leading Muskingum in that one 40-37. Meredith Ovies has come on as of late here in the second half for Capital. She's got 11 points, 3 of 5 from three-point land, Jimmy.
That's nice to see. I mean, we've been looking for more production from the starters, and Obi's one of those players, as well as Pla and Bosch. I think of the three right now that we're really looking at. Fondacy's having a nice game as well.
10 points for Colleen Fondacy. Meanwhile, back to our game here. Tyrell Jackson receives the inbounds pass from Schreck, who's had a whale of a game so far. Jackson, meanwhile, puts up a jumper and was fouled on the play by Andrew Robinson.
Who else but Schreck following that up, too?
Correction, Ricky Wilson on the foul for Muskingum. A savvy veteran move that time by Jackson, who's got 12 points to go along with 5 rebounds and 2 assists.
Remember, he had 2 points at halftime.
First free throw is good, so that now makes it 11 points in this half for Tyrell Jackson.
And Weingartner had 0. He has 10. So those two combined, we were calling on them to step it up here, and they've got 21 here combined in the second half.
Second free throw missed by Jackson. Marsh trying to dribble on in. Back out to Wilson. Wilson to Pert. Pert drives on in. Has a shot rejected by Will Hanna. Weingartner coming the other way for Capital. He'll drive on in. Joey scores with the right hand.
Coach Goodwin told him to pull back, and he looked right at Coach and said, I think I'm going to go to the rack here.
I'm going to take my shot, Coach, as the drive is good for Jarrell Marsh.
Now it's time to take the air out of the ball here.
Schreck to Hannah. Hannah will dribble on up. And now Muskingum going with a little bit of a pressure defense. Jackson to Jamison, and Jamison easily lays it in. That was a textbook example of how you break the press and come away with points. Capital 80, Muskingum 65. And now a foul on the floor, but it really won't matter here as Muskingum will once again head to the free throw line in the form of Davon Pert.
Capital's got a really good shot at dropping 50 here in the second half.
They've already outscored Muskingum 47-26.
Wow.
Pert, first free throw, good. And if you ask me, Jimmy, especially after they were beaten the way they were by Ohio Northern last weekend, this is certainly welcomed by Capital.
I would say so.
Pert's second free throw is good, particularly on the offensive end.
Yeah, and again, after the way the first half looked, with your leading scorers combining for 2 points, to get them to have that big half and then the rest of these players chipping in, filling in for Kurt Geisey, it's looking really good right now.
Schreck to Hannah, Hannah to Jackson, Jackson inside, and he scores.
Didn't need to shoot that, but we'll make it. We'll take it.
Capital 82, Muskingum 67. Minute and a half to play, and the three-pointer rims in and out for Pert. Rebound taken by Capital. Jackson will feed it ahead to Hannah, and now on the inside, Weingartner scores.
Oh.
And now a foul against Muskingum as Dan Auble claps his hands.
I don't know if he said something or how he got Jarrell Marsh to just shove him, but Jarrell Marsh just turned around and shoved Auble to the ground.
Again, a nice job by Dan Auble tonight.
And Muskingum is waving the white flag here as it looks like they are clearing out the bench.
Getting some guys some playing time near the end of this game. And 21 remaining in regulation. In the second half it has been for Capital as they lead Muskingum 84-67. All right, let's see if I can get all these players. Seth Miles is out there along with Malik Billingsley. Also out there looks like Johnny Hopkins. And also coming in, Cameron Miller. All right, that's Muskingum. Jimmy, what do you got for me for Capital?
I'm working on it. I got one away here, but I've got Gavin Wildermuth, Brendan Chukran, as well as Jaden O'Neal. And then it looks like Brandon Holiday and Jacob Yesbach are the last five, or make up the last five.
Layup missed by Jacob Yesbach, freshman out of Strongsville, Ohio. Minute 08 remaining in regulation. Capital on their way to a win, their first conference win during the 2016-2017 campaign. Boy, that went off awkwardly off of someone's foot.
And Miller just pounded it right off of the foot of Holiday.
Hopkins will inbound it for Muskingum along the baseline. And he will get it in. Glass misses the three-pointer for Muskingum. 55 seconds and counting now. O'Neal. Now it's Chukran, and that is a foul.
On Yesbach.
Okay, so we'll go against Capital.
Kind of an OPI there. He pushed off and then got the rebound.
50.4 seconds remain. What a bounce-back win for Capital. What a bounce-back second half for the Crusaders.
Oh, yeah. And 51 points scored, so they did break the half-a-century mark there in the second half.
And that's something that we don't often say about Capital offensively, at least the last couple of years or so. Cameron Miller misses the first free throw. Stay tuned for the Peking Dynasty postgame show. Talk with head coach Damon Goodwin. Get you updated with some scores and tell you how this game wrapped up from a statistical standpoint. All coming up on the Peking Dynasty postgame show. 45 seconds remaining in regulation. Capital 84, Muskingum 68. Yesbach over to Holiday. Now it's Chukran dribbling around. Now over to Wildermuth. Wildermuth dribbling on in, off the glass and in for Gavin Wildermuth. Sophomore out of Jackson Center, Ohio. Under 30 seconds. Not a second between the shot clock and the game clock. Capital Back with possession now after a steal. Jane O'Neill dribbling around now for Capital. Shot clock's been turned off. 16 seconds and counting. This is the type of win that Capital needed in the worst way. After getting beat by Ohio Northern, the crowd sensing the victory here at the Capital Center. As Wildermuth will just simply dribble out the clock. Capital ends up outscoring Muskingum 51-29 in the second half as the final buzzer sounds here at the Capital Center. Your final here in Bexley, Capital 86, Muskingum 68. Stay tuned for the Peking Dynasty postgame show. You've been listening to men's basketball here on the Capital Sports Network.
When looking for great food at low price, be sure to visit Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital University campus. Peking Dynasty has a large selection of Chinese food and sushi, along with great-tasting chicken and beef selections that can please any appetite. In addition, Capital University students receive discounts with a valid ID any day of the week. That's Peking Dynasty on the corner of Livingston and Sheridan right near the Capital campus, where we are proud to say, Go Cap!
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Welcome into the Peking Dynasty postgame show. Tonight, Capital triumphs over Muskingum 86-68. I'm Charlie Danis. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the final stats brought to you by the CU Society of Sports Management. First, for Capital, Austin Schreck comes through with a big-time game tonight, 20 points to go along with 16 rebounds. Also had 3 assists on the night. Joey Weingartner with 14 points. Tyrell Jackson with 15 points. 9 points for Nate Boone. 7 points and 7 rebounds for Tyler Jamison. 2 points each for Caleb Mitchell and Gavin Wildermuth. 5 points each for Will Hanna and G. Yahaya. And 7 points for Dan Auble coming off of the bench. Capital shot 48% from the field, 6 of 18 from three-point range, good for 33%. And they were 12 of 18 from the free throw line, good for 66.7%. Meanwhile, Jarrell Marsh led the way from Muskingum offensively with 22 points on 8 of 15 shooting, 2 of 5 from three-point range, and 4 of 4 from the foul line. 7 points for Joshua Keys, 8 points for Ricky Wilson, 7 points for Jalen Page, 13 points for Marcus Dempsey, 8 points for Devon Pert, 1 point for Cameron Miller, and 2 points for Robbie Heisey. The Muskies shot 41% from the field, 8 of 22 from three-point range, good for 36.4%, and 14 of 21 from the foul line, good for 66.7%. Jimmy, what this game ultimately came down to was Capital flat out played better in the second half.
Yeah, and they got the scoring from the people they needed to get scoring from, Weingartner and Jackson. Austin Schreck had the game of his life, 20 points and 16 rebounds. I can't believe it. And the three-point shooting really turned around. The second half, Muskingum shot 30% from outside after shooting 41% in the first half. Capital was 1 for 8 in half number 1 and 5 for 10 in half number 2, and a lot of those threes came at the end when it didn't really matter, and a lot of the missed threes, I should say, came at the end when it didn't really matter. They got hot and I think made 4 or 5 in a row during that big run, which built that big lead for them.
Let's go ahead and name tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Donato's Pizza. Again, Jimmy, what an effort tonight by Austin Schreck. You know, we were talking about how he was throwing around Russell Westbrook type of numbers with his 20 points and 16 rebounds from his point guard spot. And you know what? He's only a sophomore for Capital. We saw him come through big time last year as a freshman. I think the sky's the limit for this kid.
Yeah,
what do you think?
A big effort from him. Muskingum, one of the better rebounding teams in the conference. Joshua Key's a big reason of why that team is at the top of the rebounding statistics. But Schreck just in the post, even on offense, he was sizing guys up. That spin move to the basket was working for him well. Got to the free throw line, made 5 of 6 from there, and pretty much a complete effort from him. It looks like Coach Goodwin seconds away from you, Charlie.
It's now time for our post-game coach interview, brought to you by the Capital ROTC. Again, it is Capital who defeats Muskingum tonight by a final of 86-68, and we're happy to be joined by Capital's head coach, Damon Goodwin. Coach, let me start off with this. The second half, you outscore Muskingum 53-29 tonight. What was the big difference?
Well, we woke up and we started to play a little defense. I think the first 10 minutes of the game, we really struggled with what we were trying to do. I don't think we were well coached or well played at that time. And in the second half, we got some things straightened out in the locker room and came out and responded.
Talk to me about Austin Schreck. 20 points and 16 rebounds. He had a whale of a game tonight.
Austin's a really good player, and he's tough, he's physical, and he's a hard matchup for guys, and we try to take advantage of them having a smaller guy on him today, and he certainly did that.
I want to show some love for Dan Abel for just a second. Kurt Geisey's going to be out because of an injury. Abel did some yeoman's work off the bench, scoring 7 points for you.
Yeah, Dan's really played well for us this year. For a freshman coming in and being able to hand the ball, he's a good leader. He talks as much as anybody we have on the team, and for him to come in and play 14 minutes and have 2 assists and only 1 turnover in those 14 minutes and give us 7 points, he's certainly a bonus today.
And finally, Coach, you hold Muskingum to 68 points. This is a team that had been averaging close to 90 points a game. What can you say about your defense tonight?
Well, again, we gave them 40 the first half. I don't think we did anything in the first half to do that. I think second half we were dialed in, we were focused. We tried to make them do some things they don't normally do, and it worked out our way. They're very talented. Muskingum has a very talented team. They're 5-0 coming in, so it's a big win for us.
So now on to Otterbein. That ought to be a good weekend.
Yeah, let's hope so. In 36 hours, we're back here doing it again, so we need to recover quickly. We had finals this week. Our guys are a little mentally challenged right now, and we need to figure that out and get back on the practice floor tomorrow and get ready for Otterbein on Saturday.
All right, Coach. Thanks so much for joining us. Head Coach Damon Goodwin joining us here on the Peking Dynasty postgame show. Capital defeating Muskingum tonight by a final of 86-68. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get you updated with some action around the OAC and get you set for what should be a big weekend for Capital as they get set to take on Otterbein. You are listening to the Peking Dynasty postgame show.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
Welcome back to the Peking Dynasty postgame show. Capital tonight defeats Muskingum 86-68 on the men's side. While we have a moment, let's now give you one last OAC scoreboard update brought to you by Jersey Mike's Subs and Sandwiches. It involves the women's team. Jimmy, 8:06 left to play in the fourth quarter. Capital up by the slimmest of margins. Well, one of the slimmest of margins, 46-44. 8:06 remaining in the fourth quarter. Muskies are making that a close ball game with Capital, who are led offensively by Meredith Ovies with 13, Colleen Fondesy with 12. 10 points and 12 rebounds for Aaron Reisner. Goodness.
Wow. That one started at 7:30 or 7?
It started at 7:30.
I was going to say, if it started at the same time as us, long game there. But that's going to be a good one, and we wouldn't be hurt if you switched over and started following the live stats of that one here. We're wrapping up in a few seconds here, and hopefully the women can make it a 2-0 day before we get a chance to see both teams in the fun one against Otterbein on Saturday.
Which leads me right into my next point, Jimmy. On Saturday, we'll have the Otterbein doubleheader. The men's team will tip off with the Cardinals at 1 o'clock, so we'll get things started with the Jimmy John's pregame show starting at 12:30. And then the women's game, that is tentatively scheduled for 3 o'clock. There'll be about a 15-20-minute wait between each of the games. It's always fun when Otterbein comes through here, Jimmy. It's the big rivalry here in the OAC, or one of the big rivalries, I should say, in the Ohio Athletic Conference. And even though Otterbein has kind of hit the skids a little bit within these last couple of weeks, should be a very festive atmosphere here at Capital.
Yeah, if you don't get a chance to make it out to too many of the Capital games, this is definitely the weekend to come up. They've got a really, really cool atmosphere during the students get really into it. The students have finals this week as well, so I'm sure Saturday will be a nice little blowout for them and a day of fun after studying all week long and probably not having much of a social life at all. So I expect Saturday to be a whole lot of fun, especially, again, we mentioned this during the football games, but if you haven't been out to Bexley since last year, a lot of changes in the area around Capitol as well. There's some restaurants and things that have opened up as well. So, I mean, if you haven't had a chance to come down to Cap, now's a good time this weekend. Hopefully the weather kind of holds up. Should be cold probably, but luckily they play basketball indoors, so you won't have to worry about that and can enjoy some nice Bexley after the game. So I think definitely if you plan to make a trip to come to Capitol and you haven't planned to come this weekend, I would change your plans around.
You see, Jimmy Bloomfield, not only a color analyst, but also a tour guide.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, folks, he is very, very versatile. Jimmy, thanks so much for helping me out tonight. This is Charlie Danis saying one final time. The final score tonight from the Capitol Center, Capitol 86, Muskingum 68. We will see you on Saturday afternoon when Capitol plays host to the Cardinals of Otterbein.